First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth pushing this truth and risking your lives to do so, as we are in the times of the end. And, we're seeing that this prophecy's come to pass, as this has been declared the year of prophecy. And so, Austin went under martial law, because the killer, supposed bomber, blew himself up, right? That's what we're being told, but we know that's bullshit, that this was just nothing more than another, and they planned this shit in advance. Well, there's another situation now going on in France. I have the alerts on RT, so I'm going to read that article, as well as what's going on in Syria, because a lot of these things are a decoy from what's going on in Syria. The deep state, Amalek, is losing its control, so they have to set off these events, and they are planning to stage another false flag chemical weapons attack or something else to blame Assad, so they can go after the Assad government, because that's the foot in the door, to go into Syria to try to overthrow the government. But first we're going to read this false flag shooting in France. So let's see here. All right, shooting and hostage taken at supermarket in South France. Police op underway. And, actually there's a video to this, so we'll see if we can get this to go. A lot of times when I try to do this live, they fuck with it, but I'll see if I can get it to go. Like I want to sit here and wait for it to buffer out, but you see how Esau fucks with this shit. Alright, I'm not waiting for this. Hold on a second. False flag.
Charlotte, what do we know about the situation at this point? Well, we've been told by the French Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, that this situation is being dealt with as extremely serious. And there have been reports that have come out now in the last few minutes, Nikki, that have suggested that some gunfire has been heard from the supermarket. This is where a gunman has taken some people hostage. We're not sure of the numbers of hostages, but we do understand that it is more than one. And those reports from Associated Press suggesting that some of the hostages have been shot, although at the moment these are unconfirmed reports and we are waiting for more information from the police. What we do know that happened is that about 11:15 French time this morning, a gunman took hostages inside the Super U supermarket in a town called Trèbes. That's near the southern town of Carcassonne in the south of France. We also understand that there was another incident just before that where a group of unarmed CRS police officers were having a morning jog. They were from Marseille. They were all unarmed when apparently a van came along and tried to run them over. Now, one of the CRS police officers was actually injured. We understand that they were shot in that incident. Now, the two incidents are being treated as separate incidents, but of course there is the chance that they could be merged together into one incident. And we have been hearing reports that the gunman who has taken a number of people hostage in this...
I know, blame ISIS for a reason to stay in Syria. I already figured it out, y'all. Okay, so she's going to say ISIL. Alright, check this out.
And we have been hearing reports that the gunman who has taken a number of people hostage in this supermarket in the south of France has, according to one prosecutor, already pledged allegiance to ISIL. This is, of course, the group Islamic State that has been waging a war across Europe, and particularly here in France over the last few years.
Bullshit. So again, the deep state is losing the war in Syria, so it's another reason to stay there by creating all these so-called incidents, the Austin bombing, the France thing, and just so you can see, though, that what's happening in Eastern Ghouta is that Bashar al-Assad is liberating that area, that pretty much, and this is the nearby surrounding areas of Damascus, so it's another reason to go back in there to supposedly go after, ISIS, which we know ISIS has pretty much been defeated, right? So it's a reason to stay in there, and so here we are at the Syria news, Syria and the world, so Syria's Katabana town meets with the locals after securing them in their houses by the army. The Syrian Arab Army has liberated this area. President al-Assad meets a member of Syrian army officers at one military formation. And Moscow, delivery of humanitarian aid to Raqqa and al-Rubqan camp is still pending. And again, America has no reason to be in Syria. Armed groups detonate ammunition depot in Harasta, injuring civilians and SARC volunteers, which is Syrian Arab Red Crescent. Damascus countryside, a number of persons, including 4 volunteers of the Syrian Arab Red Crescent, were injured on Friday when the armed groups detonate one of their ammunitions. So, that's another thing, that you'll never know the truth about what's going on here. But America's losing the war here, so, they have to find a reason to go there, by creating these other incidents. Damascus, temperatures continue to rise around above 9 to 13 degrees Celsius, is affected by a superficial low air pressure accompanied by a weak. And here's Al-Jafari. The West's fuss about Syria will fade away as terrorist defeats continue. So in other words, pretty much what's happening, though, is that they're losing their grip, and that's why you're seeing these false flags everywhere. It's always going to come back to this. So, just being aware of what's going on and why they're doing this. It is also, of course, to create gun control here in Babylon the Great. Damascus countryside, units of Syrian Arab Army on Thursday recaptured in Tarma County and Eastern Ghouta area in Damascus countryside. Correspondents in Eastern Ghouta said that the army units... Okay, I could read more. Just go ahead and read more. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Operating in the direction of Untams in the southern sector of Ghouta, carried out over the past hours intensive operations in Ain Tarma area, regaining full control over Ain Tarma Valley after defeating terrorist organizations. The military operations are currently concentrated on the outskirts of Ain Tarma, where the Syrian Arab Army is using tactics and weapons commensurate with the residential areas in order to protect the lives of civilians and their properties, according to the correspondent. The terrorist organizations suffered heavy losses as a result of the rapid advance of the army in the area. So, pretty much their terrorists are being defeated, so, they have to create a reason to be in there, So you can read from the Syrian Arab news here as to what's really going on. But they don't want you to know anything about that. Now, other things going on, of course, it's my second channel, Confusion to Face Reading 2, and I, forwarded the X-22 report and also, everything I did yesterday, which is just a continuation of these 2 videos here. And then The Storm is Upon Us is like the longer version of the video, which I only put them on Confusion to Face Reading 2 if you want to see the whole video, where, it's a little bit longer. There's also, the 501c3 Church Bethel, which is pretty big here in Reading. They're telling the people that martial law is great. That we should love martial law. That it's a fantastic thing. So that's what the these churches will be teaching while we won't be on the streets anymore. So they'll be teaching lies, saying that, oh, okay, well, here's, martial law is a good thing, So you can see what's going on there. And, of course, there's a shakeup going on. So we'll go directly into the home feed here. Pretty much our elders and apostles are telling us, hey, man, as well as other camps are telling us, man, if you ain't in this thing and you just want to play games or whatever, or you don't like the way we're doing things, just leave, because, of course, this is no time to be slothful. These things are happening, and so, Men of Valor 13, here it is, the persecution of the South African Edomites, does a good video there. None of these shall fail, and, of course, we know that when the nuclear weapons go off, it's not going to fail. And, Apostle right here, he said, listen up, and that's a really good video, but it's a shakedown, kind of like, WWE does their shakedown. We're shaking things up here, in Great Millstone, because this is good, so that way we're staying on task, not screwing around. And, pretty much they're setting off, false flags. Here's this, Enter the Stars. That's another truther channel out there. Austin bombings pre-programming suspect. Yeah, of course, because, you can just see all those other things, that were happening back in 2013 when they were doing these drills, So there's the Eastern Ghouta corridor, where, pretty much they're now bringing humanitarian aid because these places have been liberated from the terrorists, and, everything is being transferred to our account, the 1/3, and that's a video I did earlier, and it's got some attention, because that's what's happening, though, is that Esau's losing his grip, on things, and like, here in San Francisco, Edomites come to learn of their forefathers, because, their forefathers were terrorists, because we know that Esau is the terrorist. The destiny of all Edomites is slavery, and that's what we're coming to. So, anyhow, that's just a little look on what's going on here, and so I want to say shalom, and all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yel Shai, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach us truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim that's out there. As we are nearing the end of this, Esau is about to come to his end, and no one will help him.